Today I wanted to talk about my son Riker and his autism and the trouble that we've had as a family trying to play games with Riker because of autism and mental disability. We've had to do a lot of unique things with games to try and get Riker to be interested in playing one of them. A lot of different stuff we've tried hasn't worked because Riker is just not interested in giving his attention to something that's not his favorite thing. And so he will just stonewall us, he'll just check out, The best we've been able to do so far is to get him to play something like Connect 4, where we're just playing you go, we go, you go, we go, and break the ice. And so he's played those two games out of however many games we've been trying to play with him over the years. But I have learned 5 things trying to engage with Riker and play games with him. And I want to go over them in case you're struggling to play real games with your autistic kid. I think these 5 things would be helpful to apply them to any kid with autism. So let me jump right into them, okay? Number 1 is story and lore. And one of the things I've noticed with Riker is that he will connect with a game if there is some kind of story lore. Like if there's an ongoing story from a television show or a movie he's interested in, he jumps into it right away. And the connectivity of that lore is kind of like his interest is conditional to there being a story. He's not really interested in trying to play a game for mechanics. He's interested in trying to play a game because they got to catch the bad guys or something, right? So that's like the most important thing, is having some kind of story. Not just we're going to put like little circles into this checkerboard, but instead we got to fill up all this clock with gears. So find a story. Number 2, concrete stuff. If Riker has to do any amount of abstractions and he has to like connect metaphors together, it's not going to work. And that goes to the point of like, if we're trying to play Candyland to him, the board of Candyland is an abstraction, and Riker won't engage with that abstraction right there. So like already, if we were going to play Candyland, we would have to make a more concrete board where there were like literal stone tiles that were color coded in order to get to the kingdom at the end of the candy forest, right? So concrete stuff better than abstraction, right? Number 3, cooperative games. Riker doesn't really care to play competitive things. He will do wrestling and fighting, but the moment he actually has allies that are playing in the game with him, he does much better. He engages well when he's on a cooperative mission and he's participating with some other person who's using more leadership decisions, because he will go off base and he'll go off mission just instantly. You're like, no, hey, remember we were wrestling where you got to fight the bad guys, right? So any type of board game or game we're going to play, it's going to need to be cooperative, okay? Number 4, video game models. So there's a lot of board games that are coming out right now that use things that come from like video games. One of the things that they use is like real terrain. This is kind of like a video game level that I've painted and put together and built so that when we play a game with Riker, he can actually be physically represented in the game somewhere. And that again brings us back into concrete ideas being better than abstractions. If we're playing a game with Riker and there's a bridge, it kind of needs to be a bridge for him to understand it. And the other thing about video games is if we're going to play a game that has like hit points or mana bars or things to track, it can't be represented on paper. It's going to require a game that actually has like a card where there's like some sort of slider or physical representation for the number of things you have. Could even be like coins instead of mana. So he's having to pay money in order to use an ability or spell. So video game-esque ideas are very good for board games, and especially if you have an autistic kid who's already played video games, there are ideas that kind of travel across, and so you very easily could get a kid who likes doing a certain thing in Minecraft, and because you're playing this board game that has similar video game mechanics, they're going, oh, I already know what I do once I have 5 wood and 3 iron. I make an axe, right? So anyways, video game stuff. And the last one, number 5, hobby side. So for me, I love this thing that my son Bishop is doing right now. Like I love that he's putting together these models. I like that I'm spending money on these models, and he's spending hours and hours and hours of time drilling little tiny holes in that thing, right?
It's his bullet holes.
It's his bullet holes in case you could see that. I can't even see them. I love this, right? And to me, this is far more valuable than if my kid was playing Marvel Rivals. That's his game right now. So way better hobby side. I want to get Riker painting these little cars for me for Marvel Crisis Protocol, and that's my next goal. Like, I don't think I'm ready to have him start painting any of these boats or buildings, because I just don't think it's going to happen. But I think if I present him with some white cars, he might take some of the real color markers and just draw on them, and that's, that'd be a good start, So hobby side. It's not a requirement, but I think there actually is an investment cycle that happens, because once the kid spends some time, putting paint on the model and making it look nice, there's actually an incentive structure to get them back into playing that game they just painted a model for. And then once they play it, they're like, well, I kind of want to paint the model because it's boring if it's not, so it loops. Anyways, that's 5 things. If you're trying to get your kid with autism to pay attention to a board game, try these things. Give them a try. Let me know if any of these succeed for you. All right. If you're struggling and one of these things works out, let me know, and I'd appreciate the feedback. All right. God bless you.